Good morning, class, and today I'll be discussing the Crown Act and the importance and need of it for the Black communities, more specifically for Black African American women within this country. Although so far there has been a count of 13 states who have passed the Crown Act, a good portion still have not approved this much needed law to end all forms of discrimination against Black women's hair. Today I'll be discussing the importance and need of the Crown Act, steps that we can make towards the end of the discrimination of Black women's hair, and how this will be beneficial for the Black women in the workplace. In most professional settings, a Black woman's hair plays a major key factor in the hiring process, which in most cases, Black women would have to adapt to Western beauty standards to be seen as professionally acceptable for the work environment, such as Black women having to consider getting a perm or straightening their hair, which damage their natural hair in the long run, and having to even think twice about wearing their natural hair out, such as their natural hair that's coming from their root. They will oftentimes opt out to just for a wig or having to straighten their hair. Recent studies done by Dove Sobran and referred to in an article published by BBC shows that 80% of Black women are tempted to even change their hair to meet the social standards of the workplace. So this also deals with the entire influence of the Western standards, beauty standards, and how our natural hair can be seen as unprofessional because of what the society has held as the beauty standard for the longest time. The approval of the Crown Act is needed and a step forward in the work environment for the Black community. In an article written by Shantae Griffin and published by J.C.R. Griffin, it shares the story of Chastity Jones and was faced with the ultimatum of her job or the removal of her natural hairstyle, which is her locks at the time. As she was told, they tend to get messy or seen as nasty, dirty, or filthy. All those negative stereotypes surround around locks as a whole. She would decline the job offer and file a lawsuit. This is just one of the accounts that many African American women face within this country when they come in as themselves and fully presenting themselves well enough for the job that's being offered. Steps we can make towards the ending of the discrimination of Black women's hair. Although the Crown Act would be seen as a legal enforcement to end the discrimination against Black women's hair, but as a society, we have to recognize the toxic influence of the Western beauty standards, which is one of the sole roots of this issue. Black women should not have to straighten their hair or adapt in other ways to be seen as professional. Our natural hair should be considered of equal value to our white or other ethnic backgrounds who tend to have more of a refined hair texture. Our hair texture can be seen as wild or exotic because it is a bit more different than someone who has more of a straight hair texture, but that doesn't mean that we are seen as unkept or dirty, or we don't maintain our hair as we should because it is different than our other counterparts in the work environment. Now, this would be beneficial for the Black women in the workplace. The appearance of Black women within the workplace would allow for Black women to fully be themselves. Black women's hair has such a distinction from other races, such as our tight curls and the difference in our hair textures and the various styles that we can achieve that makes us stand out. Our hair is a part of us. It's a part of our character. It's a part of who we are and who we want to present ourselves as. And to be told that we need to cut our hair or straighten it to be seen as professional, it's just like a slap to the face, and it's still in the mindset of those same pretenses from the past generations. The passing of this act would be a step forward towards the better treatment of Black women, not alone in the workplace, but as well as in our country, and the views on Black women's hair. We should be able to wear our hair how we should without the judgments and pretenses that we're unkept or unprofessional, when at the end of the day, our work ethic should be the one that determines our value in that way, not our hair and not how we present ourselves with their choice of hairstyles.